Hello, fellas and ladies. I am here to predict the year in advance for. Okay. Hello, fellas and ladies. It's time to predict the lead acting categories for next year. Yo, please don't predict Oscars this early. Shut up. I'm only doing the lead acting categories because I'm not done with the supporting categories, and I want to get these lead acting categories out quick before it becomes silly, because it's already not silly to do these predictions right now. But I'm just gonna get right into it. So, best actress, I have Angelina Jolie winning for Maria. Just overall, I'm very curious if Maria is gonna be a little different from Pablo Larraín's other two sad famous woman movies, and I do think that Angelina Jolie, I mean, look, she's gonna get nominated. That's just a foregone conclusion. I know it hasn't been seen yet, but it would have to be so much more controversial than Spencer was for Angelina Jolie to not get nominated for this performance. One thing I've noticed with lead acting winners is that they don't share the spotlight in their films. There might be another person in the movie that is also acclaimed, but for the most part, the movie is just theirs. Something like Emma Stone, yeah, she definitely, her co-stars definitely got praise, and obviously Mark Ruffalo got nominated, but that was Emma Stone's movie, and we all knew that. And I think with this movie, I don't think there's going to be another actor that people are like, oh man, they're really good. I think it's just all going to be about Angelina Jolie. I also kind of wonder if there's gonna be a bit of a comeback thing with Angelina Jolie. Obviously, when we think of comeback, we think of Brendan Fraser, and that was undeniably a comeback. Angelina Jolie, there's definitely a question if she came back, but what was she really in other than Eternals? At least to this magnitude. I feel like with Natalie Portman and Jackie, because I know there's going to be people going oh, but if Natalie Portman and Kristen Stewart couldn't win, why would Angelina Jolie win? And I get that, but to that I would say for Jackie, that was just what we expected from Natalie Portman. For Spencer, I feel like that was, for a lot of people, an introduction to a post-Twilight Stewart. Not us. I know we knew she was capable of that before Spencer, but for a lot of people, that was their introduction. For Angelina Jolie, I feel like it's been a while since she's been in a movie like this, and I think maybe there's going to be a groundswell of support for her coming out of that likely Venice premiere. And honestly, it's more probable than not that she's going to do very well with critics, and obviously that didn't help Stewart out, but maybe it could help her out this time around. I do have Lady Gaga for Joker at number 2. For the record, I do not believe she gets in if Joker doesn't make Best Picture. I do think there are some people who are still struggling to take Lady Gaga seriously as an actress, especially after the whole House of Gucci thing that happened with her and how that ended. And also, I do question if Lady Gaga's up to task for a role like Harley Quinn. And, if the movie's in, I feel like she's going to have much more attention than Joaquin's going to have. I don't really think that, Joaquin's gonna just, I'll get to him, obviously, but, I don't think Joaquin's just gonna, get the attention again for doing what is likely gonna be the same thing. Plus, some singing. This is gonna be our introduction to Harley Quinn in this Joker universe that Todd Phillips made. And I am curious how Lady Gaga is gonna do, and I absolutely buy her winning. Problem is, like I mentioned, I think some people are still, not taking Lady Gaga too seriously as an actress. But also, she's a co-lead. And I have a rule against co-leads. I feel like you have to, be so clearly the one out of the two, something like Emma Stone in La La Land, that the co-lead becomes not a thing. And I could see that being the case for Lady Gaga, but, I do think Angelina Jolie is gonna, be a little more of a thing than Lady Gaga. So I'm just gonna put Angelina Jolie ahead and put Lady Gaga too. I do have Michaela Cole at number 3 for Mother Mary. This is one of those things where Mother Mary's not a thing, then forget about Michaela Cole. I think Michaela Cole's gonna have a pretty big performance here. I don't know if she's playing the pop singer or the fashion designer, but I do know she's probably the lead. The fact that she's playing the lead in what could very well be a pretty big Oscar movie, if it's pulled off. If Mother Mary pulls it off, I don't see why certain things would be in and certain things would be out. So Michaela Cole could be an actress that people are very happy to nominate. But then again, it's also another situation where it's if the movie isn't in, she's not in. But I also can see her being one of the most acclaimed performances of the year. Maybe even becoming I want to say Colin Farrell, but at the same time, I think Angelina Jolie is going to snag some of Michaela Cole's critic attention. But I think Michaela Cole is going to be very well received. And if Mother Mary's in, why would she not be in? Jessica Lange for A Long Day's Journey into Night is going to happen. It's going to happen. More likely than not, she's going to be the only nomination for this movie. And I don't really know too much about the play, but I hear that Jessica Lange's performance is a fucking beast. Like, she is just an animal in this movie. My hair is such a disaster. Oh my god. But from everything I hear, the performance is just so towering and so, like, undeniable. Like, why would she not get in? I think the biggest obstacle, obviously, is that she's likely to be the only thing for her film, which is definitely enough for me to, like, not put her higher. Like, that's fair enough. But at the same time, it just feels so likely that she's getting in that I just can't help but just, like, kind of be settled with it. Like, obviously, if the movie's not, like, I mean, the movie would have to be, like, kind of dog shit for me to be like, alright, never mind, I can take her out. But I'm just sticking with the theory that Jessica Lange is just gonna happen. And then number 5, I struggled between 3 actresses, and I settled on Saoirse Ronan for Blitz. For the record, from what I hear, she is just the lead of Blitz. I really only heard that she's just the main character of the movie. I don't know why some are putting her in supporting, but apparently that's incorrect. I mean, I could be wrong. Who knows? Maybe my sources are dirty liars. But I think we're just gonna have Saoirse Ronan lead, and you know, I expect Blitz to be a pretty big contender. But I do wonder if, you know, Blitz is gonna be like go as far as to the acting categories. But I think Saoirse Ronan is gonna have a pretty meaty role, and it is taking place during like a war thing, during a bombing. I mean, that's not bad. I feel like if I was in the middle of a bombing, I'd be like, hell, man. Oh, man, that sucks. But also Saoirse Ronan. Everyone loves Saoirse Ronan. It is possible that Blitz is just directing, writing, and text. That's totally possible. But I do think that Saoirse Ronan is going to have a pretty meaty role in this film, and if Blitz is going to be the contender we think it is, why would it not? Why would she not come with it? I do have Emma Mackey for Ella McKay at number 6. There is obviously a question if it's coming out. I understand that, but right now I'm going off of the idea that it is coming out. I mean, she's playing Ella McKay. Like, she is Ella McKay. But I also kind of am curious, like, what kind of performance Emma Mackey is pulling off in Ella McKay. Is it just simply comedic? I imagine there's going to be some pretty, like, serious stuff in there, because I expect a pretty big, like, crowd pleaser. And with that in mind, I feel like Emma Mackey is going to have some of the high notes that makes me kind of regret not putting her in. But, you know, hey, 5 slots, what are you going to do? I was about to say, oh, well, she's going to win the Globe, but then I remember that Joker's a musical, and Lady Gaga's absolutely winning the Globe. Ella McKay, overall, is definitely a let's see what happens with it kind of scenario. But I do think if it gets in, I don't think Emma Mackey will be underestimated. Maybe it's a case of she's the stoic one and every one of her supporting cast members are, like, wacky. But also, like, you know, again, I really think we're going to get a TIFF premiere here. So hopefully I can catch that if what I'm saying is true. The other woman that I was very close to putting in my number 5 was Naomi Merlant for Emmanuel. I was very, open about and I stand by it. In my video for Best Picture, I was pretty clear. I do not buy Emmanuel at all. But I am interested in Naomi Merlant for this role. I feel like she's going to be pretty meaty. You want to talk about the international contingency of the Academy that everyone's suddenly obsessed with? Well, that'll help Naomi Merlant, right? I do feel like similar to Emma Mackey, Naomi Merlant is like on an upward trajectory. I feel like her role in Emmanuel is going to be pretty meaty. So I do wonder if she's going to get some attention with critics, perhaps. But again, I do think Emmanuel is just going to be too, like, not up the Academy's alley. You know, it could be something like, and you can definitely throw back at me, but either was blonde, and that is definitely a fair rebuttal. But again, Ana de Armas was playing Marilyn Monroe. Naomi Merlant's playing Emmanuel. After that, I do have Natalie Emmanuel, ironically enough, for Megalopolis. With one exception, I do not think Megalopolis is going to be an acting thing. Megalopolis in general is just such a confounding question mark for me that I don't really know what to do with it, but I don't think that a Natalie Emmanuel or Adam Driver, for that matter, is gonna get in if this happens. I mean, but I guess I can't rule it out. It'd be really foolish for me to rule Natalie Emmanuel out if Megalopolis is in, but I don't know, maybe she's just like a fringe lead. Maybe she's like a Rooney Mara, Nightmare Alley kind of situation, where it's like why is she even lead? Actually, no, I hear she's like unequivocally the lead. Uzo Aduba for the Supremes at Earl's All You Can Eat. I don't know if she's a lead, but I'm just going off of the assumption that she is for now. I feel like Uzo Aduba is due for an Oscar nom, like, soon. She's so talented and so lovely. Everyone knows she's great. I feel like an Oscar nom is inevitable. Is it going to be for this, though? I just don't really know what Supremes or Earl's All You Can Eat is going to be. It might just be like a TIFF's, like, crowd pleaser, or maybe Hulu buries it. If Hulu buries it, fucking forget about Uzo Aduba. I would I would love for her to get an Oscar nomination, but like, I don't know if I believe that she can survive without the Supremes at Earl's All You Can Eat being a bigger thing. Tilda Swinton for The End. The End is still a very interesting question mark for me, and what it's gonna be, what Joshua Oppenheimer's skills, but not doing a documentary is. Obviously, Tilda Swinton is due for another Oscar nomination, and soon, and she's singing in this one. She's probably gonna be like a little wacky because she's playing a rich woman who caused the end of times. I imagine she's playing the matriarch of this family. That's my assumption. I have nothing to back that up. But I do think that if The End is a thing, that Tilda Swinton will get in. I just, at this moment, I don't have The End getting nominated for Best Picture, so I can't predict it. But The End in general, I do wonder if it's going to go to like festivals like Cannes and TIFF and Venice and all that, and, you know, start scooping up more buzz than most. Ryan Destiny for Flintstrong, it changes anything to The Fire Inside, which is such a garbage title. I hate it so much. I'm calling it Flintstrong. Fuck you guys. I mean, we all know what Ryan Destiny's role is going to be. I think we can all envision what she's going to do in the movie, and she'll probably be great. I don't think Flintstrong is going to be anything like that big, even though Barry Jenkins is writing it. The only reason I'm really taking it seriously is because Barry Jenkins is the writer. But also, like, I don't know if I see Ryan Destiny surviving what I imagine Flintstrong is going to be. One movie I did not mention in the Best Picture video, which I was called out on, rightfully so, was Mike Leigh's Hard Truth. And I will bring up Marianne Jean-Baptiste here because I do think that if Hard Truth is, like, excellent, like, maybe she could get in. We all know what the cons are with Hard Truth. It rhymes with Sneaker Street. So that makes me think she's not going to get in, because we all know that fuck-ass studio's reputation. Marianne Jean-Baptiste is a pretty damn respected woman, and she's only ever been nominated for one Oscar for Secret and Lies, I think in, like, the late 90s, I think. So yeah, it's far past time for her to get back in the Oscar race. It's just, you know, bleaker. Mikey Madison for Honora. This is when it starts to go down. I know Mikey Madison's gonna crush. In fact, I'm really excited for this moment for Mikey Madison. And I know she's gonna get some Oscar buzz, but I would be perplexed if she actually managed an Oscar nomination. Unless she's, like, just too good, she can't possibly miss. I do not think Mikey Madison's getting nominated. We can move on. Anya Taylor-Joy for Furiosa. You know, if that movie takes off in a way that exceeds the first one, which would be exceeds Fury Road, that would be crazy. But I guess we can consider but I guess we could consider Anya Taylor-Joy. I really want an Anya Taylor-Joy Oscar nomination. I want it really bad. But I'm okay with waiting a little longer, I guess. Saoirse Ronan for The Outrun. I know she got some pretty huge buzz out of Sundance. Well, yeah, pretty huge isn't out. I heard she was really good in the movie that premiered at Sundance. But considering Blitz is there, and apparently The Outrun is not very good, it doesn't even have a distributor yet, I do not believe in this performance getting nominated kind of at all. Honestly, from here on out, I'm like pretty set on that none of these are getting in. I guess I'll mention them though. Amy Adams for Night Bitch. I mean, the movie's getting dumped on Hulu, and Marielle Heller directing it definitely is a green flag, and I do think Amy Adams is gonna have like a really good performance. I just, you know, just what the concept is, what is probably going to happen with it. I do not buy this movie doing anything. Miranda Reinzo for A Different Man. I have heard she's a lead, potentially even more than Stan. But again, I don't buy A Different Man getting any Oscar nominations except for makeup and Adam Pearson, maybe. Robin Wright for Here. If Here's a thing, you know, sure, I'll you know, take her seriously, but I do not believe in Here. Zendaya for Dune. No, not gonna happen. No one actually thinks that's gonna happen. No one's like, I thought she was fantastic, and I think she deserves more hype than she's been getting, but she's not gonna happen. Florence Pugh, We Live in Time. That movie's gonna be ass. Marissa Abella for Back to Black. I know it's only Amy Winehouse, and that's something, but Back to Black, like more so than like the Bob Marley one, is just gonna just go. Bye. Zendaya for Challengers is not happening. Look, I would love to see a Zendaya nomination, and I'm so excited for Challengers. But this movie is just not getting Oscar nominations. If someone came to me and said Challengers is getting one Oscar nomination, sure, I would say it's probably Zendaya. But like, come on, it's gonna be like a poppy like Letterboxd movie. I just do not believe in Zendaya getting a. She's just not gonna happen. That's something I just need y'all to accept now. Felicity Jones with Brutalist is not gonna happen. I have seen Civil War, and Kirsten Dunst is spectacular, but that is such an internalized performance, and B, the movie Civil War, which I love. I love Civil War, but you know, Nope. Jodie Comer for the Beck Writers. Nobody actually thinks it's happening. I don't even know why I'm mentioning her. And then Cynthia Erivo for Wicked. I understand Idina Menzel won for this role, won a Tony for this role, but Wicked is just not an Oscar player. Let's move on to actor. Now, let me just, brag for a little bit. For the past 2 years, I've nailed this category. Called Brendan Fraser. I was the first one to be on the Brendan Fraser train, and I was with him throughout the whole, never gave up on him, just always Brendan. And then last year, even though it wasn't immediate, and shout out to my boy, the Film Drunk, who called him first, and I may have made a mistake recently where I mistakenly said that he swapped him for Bradley. I'm sorry, baby, I'm sorry. But I did call Killian pretty damn early, and I never stepped off of him. What am I gonna predict for Best Actor now? What's my big actor foresight this time? Henry Cavill for Argyle. Now listen, you might be thinking, Argyle, isn't that movie bad? No! Henry Cavill's brilliant. His hair, mwah! Now, for real, my real prediction for Best Actor is Daniel Craig for Queer. I feel like everyone's on board that this is his nomination. He's getting the nomination. But I'm not stopping there. I genuinely look at Queer again with that mentality that I had, that it goes to the performance where they are the movie. And I think Queer, more so than everything else here, is going to be a character study for this guy. We're talking about a gay man. We're talking about a heroin addict, I believe a former addict, he's recovering, I believe, in a Luca Guadagnino movie, which I don't really understand why that's a red flag. Talking about Challengers is that's the kind of Guadagnino that doesn't get in, but this looks like a melodrama. If this is gonna be one of the best of the year, why would it miss? And why would Daniel Craig not win? And there's gonna be people going oh, but is he gonna scream the whole time? Shut you guys, that's not why people win these Oscars. Y'all need to understand that. I beg of you. I feel like this is gonna be a good moment for Daniel Craig, and he will be able to show off some acting chops that maybe we haven't seen from him yet. Yeah, that's my prediction. I think Daniel Craig's gonna win. But I will say, Como Domingo, I have very close by for Sing Sing. I have seen Sing Sing, and I loved it, and I think Como Domingo is incredible. And again, I could be completely miscalculating what Queer is, but it seems like that's a character study for Craig. Whereas with Sing Sing, Domingo is front and center, don't get me wrong. That is an ensemble piece. I feel like people are going to be very focused on the ensemble. I think Domingo is just getting in if the movie gets in. This is not a Greta Lee situation. On top of that, Domingo is hot off of his first acting nomination for Rustin. He's on the up and ups. I think Domingo, I do think a Domingo nomination is just inevitable. Well, I'll slow down with the inevitable, but I don't really see how he would miss at this rate. And unless Sing Sing just face planted, I am just sticking with him. Number 3, I do have Sebastian Stan for The Apprentice. I have heard some possibility that he's actually more supporting and Jeremy Strong's the lead, but for now, I'll act accordingly if that's the case. But, Sebastian Stan's playing Donald Trump. I mean, I don't really know what this performance is going to look like. Because I really don't think The Apprentice is just going to be cheap shots at Donald Trump. I think it is going to be a genuine character study. I think Ali Abbasi directing only helps with that, make me feel good about this movie. I'm actually optimistic about The Apprentice, weirdly enough. But obviously, it's hard to pull off Donald Trump without coming off as silly. And I don't know, Sebastian Stan doesn't really make me that confident that he's not gonna do cheeseburgers, China. But at the same time, I don't think Ali Abbasi's gonna allow that. I think Ali Abbasi will step in and be nah. Y'all gotta take this seriously. Obviously, Donald Trump's mannerisms are so silly that it's gonna be a little hard to pull that off. But I think Sebastian Stan might be able to. And if The Apprentice is a thing, I think the guy playing Donald Trump is gonna miss. Obviously, there is the elephant in the room that this is an election year that he is one to get a part of. I don't know how the results of the election will affect that, but we shall see. Number 4, I have John David Washington for The Piano Lesson. A lot of people are oh, fuck no. And you know what? I'm defending John David Washington right here, right now. John David Washington is a good fucking actor. He just gets shit roles. I know he sucked in Amsterdam. I'm well aware. He was garbage in Amsterdam, and he was kind of whack in Malcolm and Marie. But you know what? That's because the script sucked. If this script is good, he's gonna crush it. I know he wasn't. I don't think he was nominated for a Tony for this, but I think only Sam Jackson was. And obviously, the attention for the piano lesson is going to go directly to Sam Jackson. We all know this, and potentially even Danielle Deadweiler. Say whatever you will about how the August Wilson adaptations have been treated by the Academy, although they've been treated very well, honestly. Just one of them missed Best Picture in A Year of AIDS by a slim hair. But the actors get in, and Viola won, and and we're all predicting Sam Jackson wins. So I kind of wonder, why would John David Washington miss other than our perceived notion of him? He was so good in Black Klansman. Like, you give him the material, I think he'll be good. Number 5, I do have Paul Bettany for the collaboration. Dude's playing Andy Warhol in a film written by Anthony McCartan based on his play. I know what Anthony McCartan did last, but let's not excuse his track record here. I'm not saying Paul Bettany's getting in because of that, but it is worth noting that I think this is actually going to be a pretty damn good movie. The fact that Paul Bettany and the fact that he's playing Andy Warhol, like, this feels very much like when Jonathan Pryce was nominated for playing the Pope. Like, yeah, I feel like maybe Jeremy Pope will be more like in there, but I think Paul Bettany could come along with him for just about the notion of him playing Andy Warhol. And obviously it's going to be a very dialogue-heavy movie. It's very much a conversation piece. So I am very curious why Paul Bettany is being pretty underestimated for the most part. I'm not underestimating him. I've always, even last year, I was like, kind of like, why am I not predicting Paul Bettany? Number 6, I do have Joaquin Phoenix for Joker Folie deux. This might be unwise, but we always talk about this idea that, like, of them going, we just did this. They literally just did this. Are they literally just gonna, like go with Joaquin for, like, the same performance? I don't know what he's doing that's going to be that different, especially with a Lady Gaga right there, possibly stealing his thunder. I know he sings this time, and that could be enough, like, realistically. But if there's steady competition, I don't really understand what, like, the Academy is going to be so, like, intriguing about, like, going with a performance that they not only nominated, but they gave an Oscar to. Again, especially when you have another lead right there, very easy to nominate. It is Joaquin Phoenix. Like, let's not, like, and for a role that's probably going to be very showy. But I do think there is going to be a we just did this syndrome with this performance. Andre Holland for the actor, I think, is going to have such a meaty performance. I just cannot underestimate him. I think we're all hoping for this moment for Andre Holland. I don't know about the movie overall, but I think Andre Holland could get in without the movie, which is rare for lead actor contenders, but it's not impossible. So I do think that Andre Holland is something really, like, curious, like, something I really want to look at. Problem is, I don't really know what, like, the actor is gonna be, and I feel like the actor is just kind of goes a little too out there. I feel like Andre Holland's gonna suffer for that, even though I expect a really good performance, and hopefully this is gonna be really good for Andre Holland going forward. Ed Harris for Long Day's Journey into Night. I don't really know what his role is, because all the, like, everything I've heard about this, like, play is that Jessica Lange's gotta have the media role. I do kind of wonder about Ed Harris a little bit, if he could coattail off of her, or if the movie's a bigger contender, maybe he just gets in off the power of the movie. I know we're talking about a 4-time Oscar nominee here, but I feel like Ed Harris getting an Oscar nomination would be an enticing offer, I guess you could say. I do think that what Ed Harris has to do, though, is, like, he's going to be under the shadow of Jessica Lange. So I do kind of question Ed Harris a little too much. Ralph Fiennes for Conclave. Again, I said it in the video, in the Best Picture video, I just don't know what Conclave is, if it's going to be a thing at all, especially with the writer. But let's just, for a second, pretend, like, let's say I'm wrong. Conclave is in Best Picture. Does Ralph Fiennes get in after that? We're talking about a thriller here. Like, this isn't just like Oscar bait drama. This is a thriller. And he's playing a pope. Like, or a cardinal, whatever, fuck off. Like, I don't know, is Ralph Fiennes gonna have, like, this big, meaty Oscar bait role attached to him, or is this gonna be a stoic thriller role, or maybe the supporting cast gets most of the attention? That's kind of where my head's at with Ralph Fiennes, if I'm being completely honest. Kind of what I said, I guess I can kind of transition to Adam Driver from Megalopolis, because I kind of feel the same way. It is about Adam Driver and Ralph Fiennes. I feel like they're both, like, even if, like, the movies are in, I don't really think that, like, acting is where the priority is at with these movies. I think that, like, the filmmaking is more of the, more of like the goal. And even then, if there is acting, I feel like it's more in the supporting categories, which is why I'm like kind of okay. Because like what's like Ray Fiennes gonna like have like that's gonna be? Is he gonna have like a big speech? I don't know. I'm not really buying that. Like what his big journey's gonna be. Again, I could be like completely off about what Conclave is, but you know, I and same with Megalopolis with Adam Driver. I'm not really, I don't know. Bill Skarsgård for Nosferatu. Now, okay, hear me out. Obviously, Nosferatu is Nosferatu. He's playing like Dracula, but I think there is going to be a lot of attention on him if this movie. I think this movie's going to be awesome. I don't know if it's an Oscars thing, but if it is, I think he's going to get a lot of attention. I don't think he's going to result in I don't know if it's going to result in an acting nomination, but I think Skarsgård's creature work is pretty damn impressive. The little freak boy, that Bill Skarsgård. I don't know, maybe I'm just jumping the gun on Nosferatu, and I'm just getting my hopes up, perhaps. But hey, if Nosferatu's in, I can maybe see like a groundswell support for Bill Skarsgård brewing. I should not have him at 11. That is too high. But I already made the list, so oops. Timothy Chalamet for Dune. There's gonna be some people go like, no, acting, sci-fi, no, I don't want to hear it, la la la. But I want to ask you a question. Why not? Other than the genre, why not? I mean, I don't have him in, as you can see, but he has the scenes. We know what he has. I think he'll get a Golden Globe nomination at worst. I think overall Dune's gonna, like, be more embraced by the Academy, at least nomination-wise. I think just by nature of what this year is, I don't think it's gonna, like, win 6 Oscars again. Oh, maybe. I do wonder, and we're all pretty certain Denis is getting in this time. But is it really just going to stop at, like, director in terms of its, like, upgrade from the first one? Maybe? I mean, that is kind of occupational hazard with the first one getting every nomination already. But, like, I don't know. It just feels weird that it's just going to be like, all right, here's director nom, and then everything else is the same. Ugh. It was a little off. That said, is acting really this movie's, like, priority? I do have Kingsley Ben-Adir from Bob Marley at 13. The movie made a lot of money. Audiences really liked it, but it is a garbage movie, though. But Kingsley's very good, and he's playing Bob Marley. That can't be, I can't in good conscience fully count that out. Tom Hanks for Here. Zemeckis, man. I do not buy Zemeckis. If the movie's in, I'll predict Tom Hanks, but I just do not believe in Zemeckis at all. I do think he'll have a meaty role, though. Like, I think it'll be some sad shit. Gary Oldman for Parthenope. This is one I did not forget to mention for my best picture thing. I knew I acknowledged it when I was doing my research. I just went like, that's not getting a best picture nomination. It's directed by Paolo Sorrentino, and I do buy Gary Oldman actually. I do think he could have a pretty big meaty role that people will get behind. But I'm not buying this movie overall, and I know it's Gary Oldman, but I don't think he's just gonna get in for Parthenope. This is where my confidence is starting to dip. I do have Barry Keoghan for Bird at number 16. Barry Keoghan, obviously, he's the rising star at the moment. Not even rising, where he's just the guy. He's just a guy now. He's like an actor that people are. He's very heavily sought after, and he left Gladiator for this. And now that could mean that Gladiator's gonna be fucking ass. But that could also be he wanted to do this movie with Andrea Arnold that bad. Maybe there is something there with this performance for Barry. Maybe he is like something very endearing that could even like survive if the movie's not a thing. He looks like a scrappy young boy in the photos we have. He's got tattoos all over his body like an absolute hoodlum. I'm very curious about what this performance in this movie is, and I do wonder how Barry can survive if the movie's not a thing. Nicholas Hoult for Juror number 2. Perhaps I was too quick to dismiss this movie. I mean, I still am because it's Clint Eastwood, but this is a courtroom drama. Maybe Clint Eastwood's a little bit more on his A game for this movie. And maybe Nicholas Hoult is going to be really good. I actually do wonder about some of the supporting performances, i.e. Toni Collette for Juror number 2. And if Juror number 2, and Nicholas Hoult feels like he's on the up and up, so I feel like an Oscar nomination for him is inevitable. It's just, it's a Clint Eastwood movie. For all likelihood, it's just going to be Clint Eastwood doing Clint Eastwood again. You're gonna have old men doing the same shit. Let's talk about Gladiator 2 and its lead actor, Paul Mescal. I know we're all very excited about Paul Mescal at the moment. And I know, and there is a good case for Paul Mescal because Russell Crowe won for leading the last Gladiator movie. But I don't believe in Gladiator. Gladiator's a thing. We'll talk about Paul, but I'm not buying Gladiator. And then from here on out, I just do not buy these, but I guess I'll mention them. Glenn Powell for Hitman. I've seen Hitman. He's terrific, but that's just a charming movie star performance. Nothing more. Just funny. Maybe a Globe nom. I'll consider that. Josh O'Connor for The History of Sound. I know, Bill Nye got in for Living, same director, yeah, but I just don't think History sounds anything. Imagine Stanford Different Man, I heard it's fantastic, but kind of what I said for Ryan's Film, I'm not really considering a different man to do anything. Plus, Stan has a performance where he's playing Donald Trump. I mean, which one do you think is going to be bigger? Adrian Brody for The Brutalist. I just don't buy The Brutalist doing anything. And same goes for Andrew Garfield for We Live in Time. Same thing I said for Florence Pugh. Fuck this movie. I know we're all, Andrew Garfield and Florence Pugh. Fuck yeah, we love those guys. But if the movie sucks, they're not getting in. Kevin Costner for Horizon. Absolutely the fuck not. If it's anything like his Yellowstone performance, it's going to be going like horses for like the entire movie. Jesse Eisenberg for A Real Pain. I heard he's great, but I think the attention is so heavily on Kieran Culkin that I think Eisenberg's going to get fucked for that. Richard Gere for Oh Canada. Nope. Rami Malek for The Amateur. Nope. And that is the end of the predictions. Once again, all these predictions are 100% correct. If just one of them is wrong, I'm deleting the video. So yeah, like, subscribe, share. I will have a supporting actor video hopefully within next week. I don't know. I'm a busy boy. And yeah, that's it. I'm tired.